Irish guy, and I would imagine if you're somebody whose Premier League team has not yet hit 30 points, I'm guessing you're now hyperventilating into a coffee cup. You're probably watching this video with a mouthful of Maltesers whilst curled in the fetal position, losing half your body weight in sweat. I mean, right now, you probably just look like an old man who's just died in a sauna. Suddenly, you've got more forehead wrinkles than the mum of American Pie. I mean, can you imagine being a Leeds United fan right now? This is a set of supporters who waited nearly 20 years to get themselves back into the Premier League. They're essentially like that granddad who gets jailed in China for tax fraud and who's just spent the last 18 years being fed pig ears and having to practice kissing on the dead mice found in the walls of his cell. And now, those same fans are having to prepare for a relegation battle with Javi Gracia at the wheel. I'd sooner have Anta Dek at the wheel. Well, actually, not the first one. But lads, Gracia is a former Watford coach who looks like a middle-aged gardener. Reading his CV, it's a bit like trying to read the homework for a dyslexic child. It's hard to make sense of it. But lads, more on Leeds later. In this video, I'm gonna look at the teams at the bottom of the table and predict which teams will stay up comfortably and what teams will have a traumatizing few weeks in the spring, and ultimately which teams will be championship mucus by the end of July. Although honestly, take my predictions with a pinch of salt, because in August, I said Brentford and Brighton will go down. Yeah, now those predictions look about as clever as if I was to predict that Cameron Diaz will give birth to an alien. But alright, let's take a look at every team who are in the battle. Aston Villa are in 11th, and right now, those fans will be offended so that I'm even including them in this video. I mean, this is a club who've won a European Cup. They've got a 4-time Europa League champion in the dugout. So me putting you in a relegation video, again, it'd be like me inviting some arrogant meatball off JLS to a birthday party for some 50-year-old nerd who lives with his mum. Yeah. They're not going anywhere near Goldbridge's house, but still, Villa, you're only 7 points clear of relegation. You've just lost 3 games in a row, conceding 11 goals in the process. I'm sorry, but what organised, defensively resilient team loses 4-2 at home twice in a row? I'm guessing those Aston Villa season ticket holders will probably feel like they've just been given front row seats to see Judi Dench pick her toenails in the bath. I don't think the Unai Emery project is going to work. I think this is a coach who doesn't suit the Premier League. I mean, are we all just overlooking the fact that he oversaw his team getting dumped out of the FA Cup by Stevenage at home? Unai, you could have Instagram DMs leaked on the internet showing you begging circus clowns to come over and lick your feet, and that would still be less embarrassing than this lowly cup defeat. I think Villa are in a mess. Their transfer window is about as messy as Russell Brand's hair. Honestly, he looks like that crazy Fruit Loop who probably glues scrambled egg to his chest. I'm gonna put Villa in the category of teams who will be sweating until May. I see them picking up just 13 points, which will scrape them to 41 points. By the way, West Ham once got relegated with more. But what I'm watching right now, the naive defending, the lack of Emery control, with the man even publicly whinging about his goalie trying to score from a corner kick. This is not a happy Villa dressing room. And yeah, they'll finish about 16th. Okay, who's next? Chelsea. What? Don't look at me like that. Whatever about Aston Villa feeling too snobby for this conversation. Oh, Chelsea fans will be choking on their toasted caviar. But I'm sorry, if you want to be real about this, Chelsea, you are 10 points clear of relegation. 10. Sheffield United were 10 points clear of relegation in February 2007. Yeah. Still got relegated. You've also won 2 games in 14. If you keep up that same level of consistent form you've had since mid-October, then you will take 12 more points, leaving you with 43. Right now, you don't know how to beat the bottom club at home. Literally the easiest fixture in the sport. So, you don't get to feel like you're above this chat. Right now, you're in a relegation conversation. I actually think you will do better than 43. I'm gonna be generous and say that the hapless Graham Potter, someone with all the authority of a ceramic smurf, I think he'll squeak you to 49 points. Which again, will be a lower points total than the 2016 meltdown. And this Chelsea team has had 600 million euros spent on it this season. Back in 2015, Jose was giving an aging Pedro, a fat Falcao, and Begovic from Stoke. So what's Potter's excuse? But yeah, Chelsea will survive. But I mean, I wouldn't exactly be sticking that one on the fridge. If you like Britney Spears bragging about being able to afford a meal at KFC, yeah, I should think so. Who else? Let's look at Crystal Palace, who right now are 12th. And nobody seems to have mentioned they haven't won any of the last 8 games. Selhurst Park has not seen a home win since October. Patrick Vieira was hailed as the next great managerial genius last season, and because he's such a smiley, likeable teddy bear, nobody seems to have revised that opinion. But maybe Vieira is having a low-key pudding season. The spark is gone, the creativity is dried up, and right now, they look about as exciting to watch as 2 pigs kissing on the mouth. Honestly, if I was a Palace fan, I'd feel about as comfortable as sharing a lift with Jim Carrey. Yeah, he looks like someone who just happily shove a pencil up your nose. But I think Palace will be in a right mess until May. I think they will drop into the bottom 3 before the season is out. Honestly, I'm convinced of it. Nobody seems to have noticed how much danger they're in. Nobody on Match of the Day seems to have pointed it out. Honestly, Gary Lineker is like that teenage lifeguard, too busy listening to Green Day on his iPod to notice that there's a fat 12-year-old sinking in the pool. If Palace don't drop into the bottom 3 before the season is out, then I will do an entire video wearing a shepherd's pie on my head. They'll lose all 4 games in March, and Vieira will suddenly look like that terrified lion of the Wizard of Oz. But Wilfred Zaha will wake up and turn it on in May. They'll win their final 3 games against Bournemouth, Fulham and Nottingham Forest. I mean, come on, their last 3 games are against newly promoted teams. I mean, did Steve Parish make the fixture list? Oh, win all 3 games and scrape 44 points to survive. Anyway, quick interruption to let you know that this video is sponsored by Manscaped. I know, in this video, I'm discussing how terrified football fans will be about their team getting relegated. But don't underestimate just how terrified you should be of having hair that looks like Hagrid's beard. Honestly, lads, I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of my gran emailing me every Tuesday afternoon and reminding me to cut my downstairs hair. Lads, the Performance Package 4.0 is here to save your life. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, and Performance Boxer briefs. Lads, the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer sounds like something used to destroy daffodils, but no. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to help reduce grooming accidents. It has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multifunction on and off switch, and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off. But again, please don't shave in the dark. You'll just get blood on the cat. Anyway, Manscaped are giving everyone who watches this video a huge 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code irishguy20 at checkout. So, link in the description. Go now! Who's next? Nottingham Forest. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you'll be fine. Absolutely fine. This team only won 1 of the first 12 league games. They look like a big bag of Badger snot. But ever since beating Liverpool, there's been a huge belief in this club. Yes, some of their transfers look insane. Again, the existence of Andre Ayew, Serge Aurier and Keylor Navas at the City Ground. It's been like seeing Destiny's Child milking pigs on a farm in Sligo. But listen, I'm convinced that Steve Cooper is keeping this team up. I mean, that's only 1 league defeat in 2023. They haven't lost at home since the 16th of September. Nobody talks about that, but the City Ground is a low-key fortress. They'll collect about 43 points. They'll be safe by April and on the beach in May, where they will probably lose the last 4 games, but still, they will stay up, definitely. Who's next? Yes, Leicester City are still in the mess. But what do you expect when they started the season with 1 point from an available 21? Fair play to the Leicester board for not sacking Brendan Rodgers, because in that opening 7 games, they lost 4-2, 5-2 and 6-2 on the road. Most football chairmen would look at that run and feel like shoving a spoon up their nose. Leicester are up and down, but don't worry, Foxes fans. Relax, you'll be fine. 49 points. Painfully average season, yes, but I mean, it's only 3 points less than last season when you finished 8th. So honestly, everyone, just calm down. You'll be fine. Absolutely fine. There is more chance of me agreeing to marry my mum than there is for Leicester to go down. Okay, I said that Wolves under Julian Lopetegui would be the form team in the bottom half, and they would go on a run, hit 50 points, finish above Chelsea and just miss out on Europe. Then they go and lose at home to Bournemouth. So now I don't know what to think. How do you smash Liverpool 3-0 at Molineux to then serve up that absolute soggy sausage roll performance against the Cherries? Honestly, after witnessing them maul Liverpool, this game was so anticlimactic. I'd be like good to see Finding Nemo 2, but I do still think they'll go on a run. Maybe not 50 points, maybe 47, but yeah, they'll be fine. Right, who else? Let's talk about Southampton. They are a mess, an absolute car crash mess, and yet who somehow have beaten Chelsea twice. I'm telling you though, that recent result is the worst possible thing that could have happened, because the board are just gonna go down the lazy route of giving Ruben Selles the job. The guy who used to coach the Valencia under-18s. I'm sorry, what? At least Nathan Jones was managing adult men at Luton Town, but Selles was dealing with homesick kids whose own mums probably wouldn't even let them watch Game of Thrones. I mean, look at Burnley last season. They sacked Sean Dyche and were initially wanting a replacement senior manager like Rafa Benitez, Wayne Rooney or Big Sam. Then interim coach Mike Jackson wins a couple of games. They give him the gig until the end of the season, and then they went and picked up 1 point from 4 games in May and went down. Honestly, giving Michael Jackson the permanent Burnley job. I would sooner give Michael Jackson permission to babysit my kids. Okay, I don't actually have any kids. Lads, it'll be the same thing for Selles. They'll leave him in charge and it will be a disaster. Sorry, Southampton, but 19th and down. Who else? Everton will be fine, but This will not be comfortable. They won't win a single game away from home, but Goodison Park will be a fortress. You'll get 15 points, which will leave them on 36. Lad, Sean Dyche will shore things up short, but there'll still be a soft touch away from home. Honestly, the pressure is going to be huge. 36 points will be your lowest points total since 1980. Honestly, I reckon you're only going to squeak into 17th. And so the pressure on that final game of the season at home to Bournemouth, that game will be so huge. Everton fans will wake up the morning of the game with a massive headache from the nerves. You'll win it. It'll be a huge tense moment, but you will survive. But just. Who else? Bournemouth. Last week, I said they would finish bottom on 20 points. They then win at Wolves, and now have 21 points. And I look about as clever as a brain-dead goldfish, but I'm still predicting an end-of-season collapse and 20th in the league, on about maybe 25 points. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a horrible end-of-season battle. They'll put about as much fight as Joe Weather in a boxing ring. Oh, come on! That's a reference that's already 5 years out of date. So it's down to the final two teams that I haven't mentioned yet. West Ham and Leeds. I think West Ham will be the only team in the Premier League to sack their manager before the season ends. This Hammer squad should not go down. Imagine if Declan Rice has to be plucked out of the Championship. I think that would be a financial disaster because nobody has ever paid more than £40 million to buy a player from that league. The most expensive export was Nathan Ake, and West Ham want 100 million plus. Don't get it twisted. A relegation for West Ham will be a financial apocalypse. Right now, the club accountants probably have to take weeks off work from stress just to spend 4 days lying on a beanbag getting sick in their Cocoa Pops. I think David Moyes gets sacked. I mean, lads, 1 win in the last 11 league games? I think this man gets binned off in mid-April. I think the Hammers are actually in big trouble. Don't underestimate just how poor 20 points is by the end of February. I don't even think they'll hit 40 points. I'm going for 37 points max. And yeah, they'll finish inside the bottom 5, but they'll stay up just about. And with the squad they have, to get 5 less points than what they went down with in 2003, oh, that's embarrassing. And so finally, Leeds are down. I don't want this club to go down. I know, my relationship with Leeds is misunderstood. I mean, there's a tweet I made in 2020. It did not go down well.
Leeds fans are offended at predicting them for relegation scrap when they've spent 16 years failing to get promoted. Except that one time they crawled to the League One. Perspective, lads.
Yeah. 9 months later, and I had a noodle-armed violinist tattooed on my foot. But lads, Leeds are a monster club who belong in the Premier League. I don't want to see you swapped out for Middlesbrough, but how do you go from Marcelo Bielsa, a man who's Pep Guardiola's idol, to Javi Gracia, a man who once lost an FA Cup final by 6 goals to 0? Look at his CV. This is his 14th coaching job in less than 20 years. He always gets sacked after a year. This is like going on a Tinder date with someone who's just admitted to having 14 breakups since she was 22. Clearly, she's about as stable as a snowman in June. The last we saw of Gracia, he was having to explain on Match of the Day just how his team lost by 8 goals to 0. Watford conceded 52 goals in Gracia's last 22 games in charge. That's not good. And Leeds, I'm gonna say it, but you're going down. Honestly, looking at Leeds with this guy in charge, it's been like watching any of the Saw sequels. You've got no chance of surviving. Sorry lads, but I'm predicting 15 points. You'll go down with 34, and you'll agonizingly lose your last 4 league games to go down, getting absolutely battered by Tottenham at Ellen Road on the final day. Sorry lads, but Gracia is not that guy. And Sebes, O'Neill, and Gracia are the 3 worst coaches in the league. Simple. All 3 clubs actually began the season with better managers. I mean, one of them's currently in the Champions League. I mean, sorry lads, but for any of these clubs, you've only got yourself to blame, choosing to just lazily persist with interim coaches. It's like breaking up with your wife, only to marry your dog. Anyway, so what do you think in the comments? Let me know. Who do you think is going to go down? Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.